Hello everyone, it's Allison Sullivan at Stamp Crazy with Allison. Today I'm going to show you this really super cute project using the Snowman Season stamp set, which is part of the Let It Snow suite in the new Holiday Catalog. This is a really cute project. I used to make these all the time. They're little pouches that you can slide in and out like so just by pulling on the ribbon. And in this one I've put in some hot chocolate because snowman reminds me of hot chocolate. So you just put it in like that and you can slide it up and down as many times as you want, revealing the little pouch. I thought these would be cute for a hostess gift if you went somewhere at Christmas, or you could put it at a placemat on Christmas Day for dinner and even put the person's name, each person's name on it. Thought that would be really cute. Let me show you how to make this. I'm starting with the products that are in the Let It Snow suite. Hopefully you can see it on the screen here. I've got the Snowman Season stamp set, which is super cute. You can never have enough snowmen, right? Isn't he cute? And it does come, or you can purchase the Snowman Builder Punch that goes with the stamp set. So you can stamp the snowman, his hat, and his arms and punch it out super easy with the punch, with the coordinating punch. And you can buy that as a bundle and save 10% when you do that. The other product I'm using today is the Winter Knit Embossing Folder, which is here. And I think, oh, and the Snow Accent Puff Paint, sorry. So those are the products I'm going to use for my card. Now, you're going to start with a piece of 5.5 by 4.25 piece of cardstock. And what I like to do first is emboss it. So you're going to take your embossing folder and you can't emboss the whole piece. So you're going to have to emboss one side and then shift it over and emboss the other side. Okay. When the new Stampin' Up 3D folders came out, they're a little bit thinner than the old ones. So there is a fix. You've got your Big Shot platform. And normally you would put your folder with your piece of cardstock and you put it on your platform and you put the clear plate on top and run it through your die cutting machine. But these are a bit thinner, so they don't quite rise up enough with the normal see-through cutting plate. So instead, Stampin' Up came up with a fix. This is an embossing plate here that just goes over top. And when you run it through, you get just the right impression. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and done that. I've also scored it at 2 1/4 and 6 inches. So I'm making my little pouch. Okay, now I like to use the tear tape just because it gives a really strong bond. And I just think that it's better than trying to use snail or even glue because you want a really secure seal. To get this tear tape off, I just stick my scissors here, just the edge along like so, and then I can just peel it off. And then you just want to be careful that when you close it, you know where you're going here because it will give you a nice seal. Okay, so that's my pouch. That's it. Then you want to just punch a hole in the top. And 1/8 inch hand punch will do that. So you can do that easily through all the layers. Next up, I've got my stamp. I'm using the cute little snowman here with his little snowballs that he's got up in the air here, or snowflakes. And I like to use one of our mats underneath a photopolymer stamp just because it gives it some cushion that these don't have the same way as the red rubber would have it already on the actual image. This is see-through and I just like to have a little bit of cushion underneath. I've already gone ahead and cut out this frame. It is from the Frosted Frames dies, which is part of the Feels Like Frost suite, which is gorgeous. And this is it. I just took this and I cut out my frame. Just like the shape of it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to use Memento ink to stamp my image. Okay, like so. Yes. I'll let him dry for just a sec, just so that he's completely dry and ready for coloring, because I'm going to color with my Stampin' Blends and I don't want it to bleed. So I'm just going to set this aside for a sec, and I'm going to stamp my little greeting. I've just got a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to use Coastal Cabana ink, and I'm going to use one of the images from the Christmas Gleaming stamp set, this Merry Christmas. Now, you can see this is I would call this a negative stamp. I don't know the proper term, but what I mean by that is that the background is raised and the words are deep set into the background rather than a raised image like these words would be. So sometimes when you're using these kinds of stamps, it's very hard to get the ink to adhere very well to this. So the very first time I use a stamp that's a solid base stamp, I ink it up in Versamark, I stamp it into my stamp pad, and I just stamp off a couple of times on my scrap. And then when I go to ink it up and stamp, I get a much better image than if I hadn't done that. Now this one here, I'm just going to take my snips and cut that out. Just fussy cut it. Okay, once I've done that, I can set that aside. I'm going to bring back my little snowman here. I'm going to just color in with my blends. I love blends. Have you got blends yet? If you don't, you need to get them. They're just so fun. You can do so many shading techniques with them, but you know what? You can just also just color normally. I love to color. I find it quite relaxing, except when I'm on camera, of course. Okay, so I've just colored his scarf and his trim on his hat, and I'm just going to color his hat in. And this is Bermuda Bay, light Bermuda Bay. And then I'm going to take the dark pumpkin pie and just color the little carrot on his nose. All right, so next up, I cut a piece of vellum, just slightly larger than my frame. Just wanted to frame that. And you can use snail, or you can use liquid glue. I like liquid glue. I just find it works best for me. I also like the fact that I can move my image around. Once I've got the glue on there, if I make a mistake, I can kind of shift it around without ruining the project. So once I've got that centered on my vellum, I'm going to turn it over, and then I'm only going to put the glue where the white is showing through the vellum, because I don't want the glue to show through that vellum. And it's okay if that part of it isn't glued down. So back to my little project here, I'm going to just glue that to the top there like that in the middle. Okay, so that's the first part of our card. Next, I want to show you how you can use the puff paint just to make it look like little snowballs. When I filmed my first part of this video, I had it filming right through the end, but through a technological glitch, it didn't tape the end. So I'm going to have to go back now and just show you how to use the Snowfall accent puff paint. So I'm going to pick it up at this point. So what you do is, it's like liquid. It's quite watery, very watery actually. And I'm just dabbing little dots on these little snowballs that are around the snowman. Now, in order to get these to puff up, you're going to have to use the heat tool. And I find that if I position the heat tool just kind of over it rather than like this, it's better. I get a better result. If I did it like this, it tends to want to blow it off, which is not good. So I'm just going to heat this up. I'm going to raise this up. Maybe you can see it a little bit better. I hope so. I'm just going to put the heat on here. And you will see it start to puff up, just like little cotton balls, really. Oh, it's heating up over here. I guess it's the way my angle is. I'm just going to put that down and finish that off. All right, so you can see the little puffs of snow there. Isn't that cute? So then I went and stuck this on my pouch, and I added the words with mini dimensionals. Okay, so now we're caught up with where I was at in my original video. So the next thing I want to do is take a piece of ribbon. Now you have to cut it long enough so that the ribbon goes to the bottom of the pouch, and then there's enough at the end to tie it in a bow at the top. Okay, so I'm using a new ribbon from the Holiday Catalog called Cherry Cobbler. It is a Cherry Cobbler 3/8 of an inch, 10 yards, and it's a diagonal stripe ribbon. So I like this a lot. Looks like a candy cane. So you're going to take the end of the ribbon. I tend to cut it at an angle and make a little tail. That way it's easy to stick through the little hole here. And then you're going to pull this and even it out. So you've got even on both sides. And then when I open this up, you'll be able to see the ribbon there sitting inside. And what I want to do is take whatever I'm sticking in here. In this case, it's a hot chocolate pack. And just kind of flatten that out to make it even. And I'm going to put it inside like so. And I'm just going to push. And as I do that, the ribbon will get shorter. And I'm going to tie it in a bow, just like this, at the top. And there we go. So I've got that tied. And you can trim off the ends there, just to make it a little bit less bulky. And as you give it to somebody, and as they pull it, their little hot chocolate will pop out the top. So you can imagine, you can put lots of things in here, chocolate bar, or you can change the whole stamp on the front. Maybe if someone isn't feeling well, you could have a get well and put a cup of soup, chicken cup of soup inside. So I'm sure there's lots of ideas you can come up with. So thanks so much for watching today. All the products I showed are in the Creativity is Calling Holiday Catalog. And those products are available to purchase until January the 3rd, 2020. So visit my store at shopcrazywithallison.com and you can find all the products. Thanks so much and happy stamping.